Hello everyone, my name is Sichka92 and I must say Evil West, especially the opening and the shown scenery, reminds me a lot of Darksiders in a good way. I quite enjoyed those games. Now Evil West is a third-person shooter set in some Wild West steampunk world, and we're tasked with hunting down vampires. Right from the start I have to say the game looks crisp. The animation, the scenery, the fighting, it all looks really good, from the smallest to the biggest enemy. But the game does look like it needs some polish. I noticed some funky rendering and lighting. It's nothing that sets off an alarm in me, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. My first concern, and only one, is that the way fighting smaller enemies seems. They quite literally look like a target practice. I do not know if Evil West is a game that has a difficulty system, but Evil West sure looks like a game that should have one, because the smaller enemies don't appear to be any kind of threat. And because of that, I certainly think they did not earn this. But I do love the gore and the blood, it looks quite dope. Now for the thing that I believe I will fall in love with is the voice acting.
Get off.
Mr. Rentier, on a first date? What do you take me for?
You're right. Maybe a little lighting to set the mood.
No need. I see it now. Of course. The glamour. I'm on it.
I've seen my share of tech architecture, but that's something.
It sounds quite good, and throughout the trailer we can hear our main character or our protagonist commenting and talking, which I genuinely enjoy in the game, because it lives up to some of those dull moments and paints a better picture of our character. I know for a fact that these are not elephant trunks, but I cannot unsee it anymore. I'm fighting enemies, we're gonna fight enemies that have elephant trunks. The fighting transition from range to melee seems effortless, and looks like we will need to utilize both. Speaking of both, the perk and upgrade tree. While the upgrade tree looks pretty simple, as in the developers made each weapon do its own thing and it looks like each weapon will have its own purpose, which I respect, we will be able to spice things up with the perk tree. What looks to me, we will have perks to choose, for example, from like two hands. One hand seems to be a choice of magic and the other one seems to be a choice of melee. I could be wrong. Onto the mini-boss fight. I'm not sure what to take from it because all we see is basically basic enemies getting killed and they're showing off magic. But the magic part is pretty solid, I do like it. Another thing that I like is how we can stun and cancel the mini-boss's big attack and practically punish him or punish enemies in general for doing bad calls. And the best part, we can quite literally use enemies as live ammo. How fun is that? Speaking of ammo, how much ammo do we have? Is it infinite? Because I don't see no ammo counter. Except the one we have when we aim, but I believe that one is for the ammo in the gun. But there seems to be some kind of timer on the bottom right. Free loot boxes! Please don't have any predatory microtransactions. I'm begging you, please don't. Oh yeah, I did not mention, they ripped off Indiana Jones and the Darksiders. The Indiana Jones is obvious, but the Darksiders, like this opening of the chest, is straight out of that game. Straight out of it. And for the end, we have our first boss fight, and I quite like it. The one thing that I hate in games is when the game says that the moves that stun the normal enemies do not stun the bosses, and it would seem it's not the case here. Also something I didn't mention, dodging seems to be a rather important part of the game. And the fight looks quite fluent, the change between the melee and the ranged, like it seems like it's crucial to do damage and not to take any. The game trailer certainly made me interested for the game and I will keep an eye out for it, but I'm genuinely worried about the difficulty of the game. I'm currently playing the Master Chief Collection on the hardest difficulty for the review, so please do check me out on Twitch and follow me on Twitter for notifications and other game related stuff. Till next time.